Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Closing Show, a brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and it's 3 p.m. and we are here to get you all the market closing action. First up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and the financial space. Stock markets pause after a three-session rally as profit booking kicks in. Sensex tumbles 400 points to 82,600 odd mark, while the Nifty also slips 100 odd points to near 25,300 mark after gains that were driven by US Federal Reserve's rate cut hopes and India-US trade progress. PSU banks are on fire. Index hits a one-year high. PNB, Canara Bank, UCO, Union Bank are leading the gains while IT stocks drag. HCL Tech and Coforge slip in trade. Adani stocks soar up to 10% as SEBI gives the group a clean chit in the Hindenburg case. The rally adds 75,000 odd crore rupees to investors' wealth, taking the overall group's market cap to nearly 15 lakh crore rupees. Gautam Adani is richer by 40,000 crore rupees in a single day. Air India Ahmedabad crash is under scrutiny. Plea has been filed in Supreme Court seeking the release of complete data retrieved from the 787 Dreamliner aircraft. Petition also raises doubts over the preliminary report that's been issued by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Also highlights that the report does not include the account of sole surviving passenger. In the world of IPOs, GK Energy's IPO is fully subscribed within 3 hours on day one. The EPC firm aims to now raise 464 odd crore rupees via fresh issue and an offer for sale as well at a price band of 145 to 153 rupees per share. Let's straight away talk about the markets in the last half an hour of the trading day and the week as well. Remember, this week has also panned out to be a pretty strong one, but we are ending with some profits being taken off at the table as well. The Nifty is currently hovering near 25,315 odd levels, about 0.4% of a loss on that one. What's pulled down the index is the heavyweights, banking space. Private banks, financial services are down in trade. Even the Nifty Bank is trading with slight losses in the trade today. But you're also looking at the IT pack, apart from the heavyweight banks that are also dragging the sentiments at this point in time. Consumer durables, autos and FMCG. Remember, these are the three big sectors that are being seen as big beneficiaries of the GST cuts, are also seeing a lot of profits being taken off the table right after many days of a rally and a run-up that we have been seeing. Remember, Monday onwards is when we are going to be again focusing on these sectors. The top sectors, however, in trade today are PSU banks that are the index is up by about 1.2%. Real estate is also cheering with 0.6% of a move on the higher side. Pharma, oil and gas, metals are also shining bright, and some gains are also being seen on the broader market. Top movers today are from the Adani pack. You can see Adani Enterprises nearly 5% high in trade. Remember last evening's SEBI's comments that they are completely giving a clean chit to the Adani group and some of the top officials from any kind of allegations that were put by the Hindenburg research company on the misrepresentation, frauds, insider trading. All of those allegations have been found baseless and SEBI has given a clean chit, and therefore you've seen the Adani Group stocks rally up to 12-13% in the intraday trade today. So Adani Enterprises is the top mover. IndusInd Bank, SBI Life, Shriram Finance and Bharti Airtel are the other top movers at this point. But let's welcome our guest on board. Sharmila Joshi, market expert, is now joining in to share with us her views as far as the markets are concerned. Sharmila, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Your sense on how are you looking at the markets? We've already had a lot of tailwinds by way of the announcements on the GST rationalization, and now there are hopes that at least the deadlock that was being seen between US and India on the trade talks may also resume soon. All right, I think we'll just connect again with Sharmila once she's with us and try to understand from her what is her view in the markets. But let me quickly also help you understand the top Adani Group stocks that are buzzing in trade. We've already marked out Adani Enterprises for you. Adani Ports is also trading high in trade. Look at Adani Power, almost 11.3% of a move on the higher end. You can see Adani Energy, Adani Green Energy Solutions. You can also see Adani Ambuja Cements for that matter. That also comes in the Adani fold. Even and Adani Total Gas. All of the stocks are actually buzzing in trade. So the entire pack is actually cheering this fresh move by SEBI and is hoping for a renewed sense of optimism across the board. In fact, brokerage houses are also betting big on the Adani Group stocks. We have seen a lot of brokerage houses pencil in much higher targets for a lot of group stocks. Look at Motilal Oswal's report that is penciled in an over 50% of an upside for the flagship company Adani Enterprises from the current levels as well. And that's what we are given to understand. But I think Sharmila is back with us. Sharmila, coming back to you. How are you looking at the markets right ahead of the festive season that starts Monday?
I think we are nicely poised. Yes, today there seems to be some amount of profit booking, but I think, two things you really need to sort of keep in focus. One is that we are hearing after a long time sort of positive signals from both the US side as well as the Indian side as to, that the tariff situation may ease up going ahead, and that now you're talking in weeks that you will have a solution. So I think that's good news, number one. And secondly, I think we are now looking at earnings season. The earnings season, let's not forget, is at the back of the fact that US has had a rate cut. So you are expecting to see some kind of interest anyway in the financial space, and I think numbers will be better given that the kind of movements that we've seen both from the government as well as our rate cuts, etc. So I think October will be an exciting month because you will start seeing numbers by another maybe once you get into October, another 10 days. So another couple of weeks time, we'll start seeing numbers. So we'll start preparing for that. So honestly, I think that kind of optimism along coupled with festival cheer should see us on a better note.
Absolutely. Sharmila, are you penciling in higher earnings growth also for the, Nifty companies for that matter? We've been seeing many quarters of single-digit growth that we've been seeing. Do you think double-digit growth could soon come in from Q2 or Q3 onwards now?
No, maybe not this quarter, but I think you will certainly start hearing, you will start seeing managements being a lot more optimistic. So maybe in the financial space, you could see some improvement in numbers. But in some of the other sectors, for instance, autos, I think, the kind of pullback that we've seen in some of the auto names certainly seems to suggest that with what is happening with GST and all the companies passing down the price cuts to buyers, and the fact that numbers there have been sluggish. So, the good monsoons, improved volumes for FMCG companies, improved volumes for consumption names like autos, etc., could put some kind of cheer back in the market, and possibly you could start hearing some forward-looking statements from managements as well.
Any key stocks from the auto basket that you are betting big on right now, Sharmila?
Well, not betting big, but I do like Hero Motors. Actually, I like all the three two-wheelers. I personally own TVS Motors, but I think Hero Motors has not had the best year and a half, and now I think numbers are getting back on track for them. So purely from a valuation perspective, I think Hero Motors.
Okay, fair point. Sharmila, hold that thought. I'll come back to you with respect to more sectors and more opportunities for investors that you are scouting for in the upcoming festive season as well. But remember, viewers, this is an important news update that's coming in by way of Air India's Ahmedabad crash that we had all seen months ago. And this case is again under scrutiny as the Supreme Court there's a plea that seeks full disclosure of the data from the 787 Dreamliner. The petition also now flags gaps in the Ministry of Civil Aviation's report, including the sole survivor's account as well. For more details on this, I'm now joined by my colleague Anisha Mathur, who has more on this. Anisha, first up, tell us who's written this plea and, what is the key demand there?
Well, Sakshi, this is a petition that has been filed, a PIL, by the NGO Safety Matters Foundation, and what they are saying is that the DGCA report that has come out so far, the Ministry of Civil Aviation report that has come out so far, is lacking in certain key details. They have said that they have raised certain points. They're saying there is selective disclosure of cockpit voice recordings. There seems to be some failure to address known technical vulnerabilities, and report has not conducted proper inspections. It has failed to
Okay.
scrutinize certain lapses. It is also saying there is unexplained destruction of the enhanced aircraft flight recorder, suppression of the survivor testimony, the sole survivor of this plane crash. His
Right.
testimony is not included. So therefore, they have said that there's a conflict of interest in the investigation team and there must be an independent inquiry under the Chicago Convention. So we'll have to see when this matter comes up before the Supreme Court, because for now, this matter has very recently been filed. There is no date for hearing in the Supreme Court just yet. But
Fair
very
point.
serious
Thanks a
issues
lot,
being
Tanisha,
raised.
for that
Back to you.
update. And please do keep an eye out on that. This is of importance, and we'd love to hear back from you once this is definitely listed for the court hearing as well. Viewers, will now come back to the markets. The other segments that are definitely catching the attention, like I mentioned in the top news as well, is the Adani Group stocks that have been cheering this fresh clean chit from SEBI that has cleared the entire group and several of the companies as well as top executive officials of any kind of violations or fraud or misrepresentation that those allegations that were made in 2023 by Hindenburg Research Company as well. Coming back to Sharmila to try and understand from her what exactly is her thought process post this clean chit on the Adani Group stocks. Most of the stocks are mixed when we talk about the kind of returns they have given or how they are trading at vis-a-vis the pre-Hindenburg case report in 2023. How are you looking at the entire group? Today we've been seeing a celebratory action, kind of a reaction across the board. I think 12-13% odd is the kind of move on many of the stocks is what we have already seen. But is there more steam left? That's also one of the questions that one of our viewers, Sachin Pawar from Nashik, has asked you as well.
No, so very honestly, I think one thing that we need to remember is that when this sort of incident happened, the market was in a very different mood and different space than what it is now. So we are reacting to two very different markets. And in the interim, my opinion really has been that you need to react to these stocks as you would to, without this sort of the corporate governance sort of cloud hanging over it, and keep that as a something that some news that you need to keep track, because these things play out over a period of time as we have seen. So I think my view remains the same. You need to apart from, you will see some recovery as a group, but I think going forward you need to evaluate each of these stocks for their own merit, and whether you like the stock at current valuations or not. So to make my point, I think I like Adani Enterprise at this level.
Adani Enterprises. Okay, got that. That's a key choice there. But, talking about the entire festive spirit, the consumption boost that we are all looking forward to as well. You've already marked out some of the auto stocks that you're looking at clearly there. Apart from the autos, are you also looking at the other themes like consumer durables, for instance, FMCG as well, because of our daily essentials that are now attracting either 0% or as low as 5% GST rates? How are you looking at the pure play consumer staples and consumer discretionary?
So, very positively. I think two stocks that sort of benefit a lot from, and good great stocks, are both Britannia as well as Nestle. I think for Britannia, almost 70-80% of their revenue is impacted by this cut in GST. So that's great news for them. Nestle, again, big percentage of their revenues feels the positive impact of GST. And to just couple it with what I said a little while earlier, FMCG companies have not been seeing the best run because you've seen sort of volume growth drop and rural demand drop. So now I think post monsoon and post sort of this GST cut and maybe prices coming down, you would expect to see some kind of an improvement in volumes, and that will definitely be good news for FMCG. Another consumption space that I really like is I like Trent a lot at this level, and I also like Honasa Consumer as well as Nykaa. Trend, I think, the way they have sort of repositioned themselves, reimagined themselves, and have become a fashion choice for young women. I think that is commendable. The way Westside and Zudio stores have performed is all of us have seen it. Also Honasa, I think, with the brands that they have under their brand, and Nykaa being, an aggregator for a lot of these good makeup brands. So I think there's a lot of room left in these, and I don't know whether market is properly evaluating the kind of potential that there is in this space.
Fair point. So a lot of these e-marketplaces, quick commerce zones is something that you're looking at, retail giants as well. And, talking about the same festive spirit, especially, we are going to be seeing the big bang sales on e-commerce companies as well. So right ahead of the Amazon Great Indian Festival sale that starts on September 23rd, Business Today speaks to Karan Chugh, the Director of Operations on Amazon India, on the expansion plans, the festive expectations, and much more. So let's listen into that excerpt.
We're actually seeing great growth from our tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and this year we have actually gone deeper into the country to make sure that we are reaching our customers over there even faster. We have gotten into smaller towns of Hubli, Trivandrum, Cochin, etc. To make sure that we're able to offer that selection and speed to our customers in tier 2, tier 3 markets as well. We're actually seeing a lot of our new customers come in from tier 2, tier 3 markets as we provide them better selection and faster speed. So we're super excited about this next leg of our journey in India.
And you have also expanded some of your capacity of say storage and many much more. Can you just let us know about that as well?
Absolutely. We have now got 43 million cubic feet of storage across the country, and this is to store inventory for our sellers, to make it ready for our customers. That's a lot of inventory. This year itself, we've added 8.6 million cubic feet of inventory, and this is across 15 states where we have our fulfillment centers, across 19 states where we have our sortation centers, and we have 2,000 delivery stations that do the last mile of delivery for our customers. And we serve 100% of serviceable PIN codes in India.
Right, so that was Karan Chugh talking about the kind of boost in demand that he hopes to see in the upcoming festive season at large, and how they're expanding their inventories to cater to the large demand as well. In fact, talking about the GST rationalization that may put this boost right into the consumption sector is Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who was speaking at an event in Kolkata, saying that GST rate cuts will actually boost consumption, production and jobs, and also widen the tax base as well. Talking about the second generation of the GST reforms, she says it's a game changer, and she also expects this to add 2 lakh crore rupees to the economy overall. She's also talked about how collections have surged from 7.2 trillion rupees in 2017-2018 to all the way up to 22 trillion rupees in FY24. Earlier, the government has also estimated a net revenue loss of, however, 40,000 odd crore rupees due to the GST rate cuts, which should get offset in the current fiscal year itself due to the higher consumption both in the urban as well as rural areas. Let's listen in to what Finance Minister had to say.
This is a very important data that we should understand. The rate cut and the new GST reforms will inject nearly 2 lakh crore into the system. So I take the example. We give PLIs, semiconductor manufacturer, earlier automobile manufacturing. We want to incentivize them so that they can produce and produce well in this country. Assume for PLI we give a certain amount. By injecting this amount through the rate cuts for GST, we are actually giving 10 times of what PLIs are giving. Till now in the 8 years, what did the GST do? 65 lakhs was the number of people who were in the GST system, meaning they were charging GST. In 2017, they were 65 lakh at the time of introduction. In the 8 years, that number has gone to 1.51 crores. So GST has actually drawn more people into it and widened the net. And the money earned, that is a gross, not talking of refunds here, where we were collecting in 2018 only 7.19 lakh crores. Today we are collecting 22.08 lakh crores annually.
All right, coming back to our conversation with Sharmila then. Sharmila, 2 lakh crore rupees as far as the consumption boost is considered onto the economy is what Finance Minister is expecting. How do you expect the markets to react to this consumption boost since this is also, going to get a reaction from the overall GDP growth that's now coming at 7.8% and may get some further fillip as well. How do you expect the markets to react to that? Do you think the erstwhile highs of 26,277 may also get crossed this year just because of this consumption boost?
Not really, because let's not forget that our main concern has also been the fact that we haven't reached any solution on this whole tariff situation, which is actually what started dragging the markets lower. But this will have a positive impact for sure, and we've already started seeing it play out. Because car companies have already said they're going to pass on benefits, two-wheeler companies have already said they're going to pass on benefits. So we are waiting for September 22nd and seeing how it plays out. There will also be other savings, because I think if your cost of production comes down and the actual product price comes down, then are you going to pass on the full benefit, etc. So all these things remain to be seen. And so apart from the outright, tax cut that these companies will pass on, what more further cuts can we see from manufacturers? I think that remains to be seen. And definitely, I think this, coupled with everything that has happened in the budget and the interest rate cuts that we've had, are all aiming towards putting more money in the hands of consumers. And I think that the second half of this year is going to prove uh, exciting for us in that sense, in a positive manner. So let's wait and see,
Yeah.
but maybe not right away.
So, Sharmila, I think one more key question that a lot of investors may want to find out is that whether this change in sentiment and a boost to consumption and the overall boost to the economy may finally attract the FIIs that have been absent from the country as well. The foreign investors have been consistently selling off in the Indian markets. We have been seeing some signs of a pickup on that front happen, but whether that's going to sustain and come back in a big fashion, also keeping in mind that the US Fed is now beginning this rate cut cycle. Do you think the flows will find their way back to the Indian markets?
Yes, it certainly seems to point towards that the risk-on trade will be back on and you will start seeing positive flows. I think maybe everything will come together. You will see some resolution to the tariff situation. You will start seeing an improvement in numbers. And the second half of this year may prove to be much better for us. So, yes, I think certainly even FIs will take note of that.
Okay. What about the banking space at large? We've been talking about all those sectors that may first start to reflect the consumption demand, autos, consumer durables, discretionary. You talked a lot about the e-commerce players, the tech players as well. But what about the banks? Do you think a lot of funding will also lead to credit demand uptake and therefore lead for another pickup in the banking space as well? Are you looking at positively that space?
In fact, that to my mind will be the first place to reflect it. Because, if you are feeling positive about the economy and you're ready to borrow, who's going to feel the first impact? I think it's going to be the banking and the BFSI space. So I think starting October, from the numbers itself, you will start seeing some sort of an improvement in banking numbers. And that will, I think, sort of put the cycle back, sort of put us back in the cycle.
Absolutely. So within the banks, are you looking at private sector or the PSU sector that started to now pick up in some pace because that was lagging far behind the private players up until now in 2025?
Yes, I mean, really honestly speaking, there are a lot of stocks I like within that space. So in the private banks, if you like an HDFC, ICICI, which have already run up, I think even a Kotak or an Axis Bank could get looked at. I think stocks like, again, State Bank one doesn't need to talk about, but even the larger public sector banks like a Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Canara Bank, PNB, I think all these will slowly start showing better numbers, and one can expect, because the valuation certainly seem to suggest an upside. So it largely depends on how their numbers really pan out for them in this quarter, and then the market will take it from there.
Okay. Are you still, not very sure or cautious about some of the sectors that may still not participate in the markets? Are you wary of some sectors like that?
Yes, I think IT would be one, because I think while tariff and everything else, the slowdown that we see in US, etc., would have been taking their toll on the valuations of IT companies, and we've seen that PE rationalization happen. I think now somewhere market is also sort of factoring in the AI threat. So what it's going to do to jobs within that space, what it means for the companies themselves, how much have they really invested in AI. So one hears a lot more about this in context with IT companies. And I think investors will now really closely look at that as to how much investment has gone there, what percentage of revenue is coming from there, etc., etc. So that, I think, while we've seen this pullback, I think going forward that could be a key area to watch as far as IT companies go.
Okay, fair point. The markets are just about to shut shop, so just let's focus our attentions on the market closing, and we'll come back for the closing comments with Sharmila as well. Let's look at the Nifty at this point in time. You can actually see a 70 point of a downtick. 25,353 is the level at which the Nifty is truly trading at. When we look at the key drags, they've been consumer durables, banks at large, financial services, IT, FMCG too. When we look at the top movers in trade today, you'll clearly be able to find that it's Adani Enterprises that moved up the maximum 5.2% high in trade. SBI Life and even names like IndusInd Bank, they pulled up in trade today. Also Adani Port, State Bank of India among those other movers. Bharti Airtel, another one that continued to move up in trade as well. So those were the top 5-6 movers on the positive end. However, when we look at some of the top drags, you'll be able to clearly spot HCL Technologies, ICICI Bank, Trent for that matter, that slipped in trade, 1.5% losses for those. Even M&M or a Bajaj Auto, these are the other stocks that actually fell in trade as well today. But let's actually look at the broader markets, the mid and the small caps, that they continued to move up slightly higher in trade. Some of the top movers on the mid cap front that really rallied from the front is, of course, the Adani Group stocks, apart from this Vodafone Idea that moved up 7.5% with some hopes of some resolution coming in, as has been represented by the government to the Supreme Court today. Vishal Mega Mart, IREDA, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, those are some of the names that have pulled up in trade as far as the mid-cap names are concerned. But PSU Banks is something that really rallied from the front today. 1.3% higher. Real estate followed, pharma, oil and gas, these were the other top sectors. When we look at the Nifty 500 names, a lot of interesting names also pulled up here. Sumitomo Chemicals, that pulled up 6.5% in trade. Look at even names like Adani Power, we've already marked the Adani Group, but Aluvis Life Sciences, Career Point Edutech, Bharat Gears for that matter, that also moved up. Even Anant Raj from the real estate pact pulled up about 8.5%. Urban Company, third day of trade for this new debut stock, 8.5% higher. VIP Clothing, another one that moved up in trade. So smart moves that have been seen in trade today. Coming back to Sharmila. Sharmila, next week is going to be an important one. Like we all pointed out about the festive season, your sense of what's the best way to approach the markets from here on? How would you advise investors who've been sitting on cash all through this consolidation, looking for some signs of an improvement in the markets to now finally go in? What's the strategy they should adopt?
Two things. One is that any stock that you like, buy it incrementally. Don't invest your entire sum at one point in time, in one go. And secondly, when you buy a stock, make sure that you're buying it with at least a 2 or 3 year perspective. Given the way things are, it will take a while for things to settle down and then, good markets to start, or rather a trending market to return. So for that, I think you need to be a little patient. And obviously, I think we've discussed quite a few of the sectors that I like. I do like the consumption names. I do like the banking names. So those could be some of the stocks that you could look at. But as I said, don't invest your money in one go. Buy, and if you sense that markets are correcting again for some reason, then buy more at that point in time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sharmila, for being with us on the program and, of course, helping all our viewers out with all your insights as to where to find opportunities in this kind of a market when some or the other tailwinds are now finally coming into focus as well. With that, viewers, we're going to be wrapping up the Business Today show for you right here, but do stay tuned as news coverage continues on the other side. And, of course, Monday morning, we'll be back with another edition of Market Opening Show at 9 a.m. as Abha Bakaya will get you the first action of the new week as well. With that, signing off, Sakshi Batra right here. Stay tuned on to India Today.